All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Sunday night building blocks call. We're here every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, making it do what it do. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get your kombucha. You getting it? Okay. My bad, son. Every Sunday night, 8 p.m. EST, we're here live on Instagram and on Zoom. Appreciate you all chiming in. Looking to always find ways to creatively add value to your life and your journey. So I want to talk today about the word integrity. Integrity. Tatiana, how are you? What does that word mean to you when someone says, do you have integrity? Is this person a person of integrity? What does that mean when you hear that word? Anyone, jump in. You can unmute yourself.
I feel like integrity is a person that has great character.
Mm-hmm.
Say what they mean and mean what they say kind of person.
I like it. Say what they mean what
Agreed.
they say. It's pretty simple.
Agreed. Do what they say what they do. Walk it like they talk it.
Okay, I like it. I'm taking it. Anybody else? Are you all in agreement with that? Because I would agree with that. Okay, good. So when we look at integrity, there's two types. There's internal and there's external. Internal integrity is the integrity that you keep with yourself. External is the integrity you keep with others. So if you give somebody your word, you best follow through. My dad has always said to me, if you tell somebody you're going to do something, you better do it or you better die trying. So that's always stuck with me. And for any of us, I think it needs to hurt if you don't do what you say you're going to do. It should really bother you. Because frankly, if you're living your life, it's a really hard thing to do, but it's very worth working to do it. Meaning if I'm going to be in integrity, then I'm not going to say I'm going to do something unless I'm actually going to do it. So I'm going to be very careful with my words and think before I speak. And I'm not just going to say something willy-nilly because I'm in the moment, I'm trying to placate someone or what have you. I'm really thoughtful about the things that I give my commitment to. And what are you doing? That's my son. He's messing around. You can't be moving around like this, man. You distracted me. Don't worry about that. We'll get it later. So if you tell somebody you're going to do something, you do it, but you're mindful before you make the commitment. And what happens with a lot of people is that they say they're going to do something because they're just trying to get off the phone. They're just trying to move on to the next thing. They're trying to end the conversation. And so they say stuff that they don't mean as a way of buttoning that moment, that interaction. It's a really bad habit that a lot of people have. Many of you have experienced this in your life, right? Someone says, oh, yeah, I'll call you tomorrow. And they're just trying to get out of your face. Do they call you tomorrow? No, they don't. Then you call them, they don't pick up the phone. And you're like, hold on a second, wait a minute. What's going on here? Oh yeah, I'll be there. What time is it? 7 o'clock? Okay, I'll be there. I'll be there with bells on. Can't wait to see you. 7 o'clock comes, 7:15, 7:30, 7:45, 8, 8:45, no show. No word, no, hey, something came up. I'm sorry, I wasn't able to make it. They just don't show up. And it becomes a way of life where people habitualize being out of integrity. It is a huge pet peeve of mine. It drives me absolutely insane when someone says one thing and then does something totally different. Because it's not like I'm forcing you to say you're going to call me, or I'm forcing you to say you're going to do something, or I'm forcing you to attend the barbecue. I'm just asking a question. Just say, I would love to come. Chances are I'm not going to be able to come, but if I show up, we'll just call it a bonus. Just communicate. And so a lot of times people fall out of integrity because they don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to clearly articulate what their situation is. And so they just shortcut these things. And this continues to be a pattern in their life. And you look at that person and they're 50-50 on reliability. Well, number one, nobody on this call wants to be a 50-50 person when it comes to being reliable. And you certainly are not going to want somebody in your circle, in your life, that's 50-50 either. So one of the things I love doing is I love identifying who's who as quickly as I possibly can. That way I can manage my own expectations. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of people who do not have any integrity. I'm not saying that they're bad people. I'm not saying that they're not loving or caring or fun. They just don't have any integrity, and they see no problem with it because nobody's calling them out. Because a lot of people they have no integrity with don't have any integrity either. So it just becomes part of the norm, becomes a part of their culture. Now, part of the responsibility for you is to make sure that you're calling it out any and every time that it happens. Now, why is it important for you to call it out? Because you're also doing one of two things. You're either buying in to what is the norm or someone else's culture, or you are creating your own by the standards that you exemplify and that you demand from those people who are interacting with you. Now, there are obviously some parameters to it. So for example, some of you may be under the employ of someone or a company, and you may have a superior, a boss, and your boss has no integrity. Well, obviously you can't make your boss have integrity, but there are certain things you can do within the parameters of that dynamic. So if your boss is in the habit of saying one thing and doing another, I encourage my clients to just document and create paper trails. That way, your communication is clearly expressed. So if this ever becomes an issue or a legal matter, you have the actual documentation. Well, she told me to do this assignment and have it done by Sunday night. When I came in Monday morning, she swore up and down that this was not the assignment that she gave me. She swears it was something else. Ed, I'm telling you, this was the assignment she gave me. Well, how did you document that? Because we've already discussed the fact that your employer doesn't really, integrity is not high on her list. Well, I had her send me an email requesting specifically what she wanted done. So she said to me in person verbally, I need this done by Sunday night. I said, would you mind sending that in an email, please? Just so that I can have my own accountability, so that when Monday morning comes, I'm going to have what you asked for. And she sent the email. I have it right here. Great. Now you have documentation that will help the employer understand some of their flaws without it becoming a real big issue or he said, she said. So these are little things you can do within certain parameters if you have some limitations according to your situation. But generally speaking, most of you have a lot of autonomy with who you're giving your word to and who you're not giving your word to and who's giving their word to you. So if that comes up, it's just important for you to address it immediately. So if someone says to me, I'm going to be on the call, and they don't show up for the call, I immediately will send a message as soon as the call is over. Hey, are you okay? Did something come up? Did something happen? It's not like you to be out of integrity, to say you're going to do something and not do it. And that message right there is me actually helping them to see the impact of their words. And maybe if I'm lucky, they'll learn something from it and they'll take themselves a little more seriously when they say they're going to do something and actually follow through. Maybe, right? Old habits die hard. Patterns are difficult to break, but this is a pattern, being out of integrity, that I feel is worth breaking, and I will do whatever I have to do to help somebody break their pattern, because I want people to win. I want them to be successful. I want them to be the best version of themselves. So that's the external piece. It's the consideration before giving your commitment to something. Someone says, hey, I would really love it if you could attend this event. It would mean the world to me. How many times have you all been invited somewhere and you get the invitation right before you made, right before you got the invitation, you made the commitment to yourself that you were going to do absolutely nothing. You were like, I'm going to take some time. I'm going to decompress. I'm going to put my feet up. As soon as you make that declaration, somebody calls, it's like, I would really appreciate if you can come to this event. I know it's last minute. I'm really sorry, but I would love it if you could come. And then all of a sudden you're kind of caught out there. You're like, I don't want to let this person down. They never really call me like this. Should I go? I don't really feel like going. I just said I was going to put my feet up. So in that moment, you just have to process. And then you have to weigh what's more important in that moment for you. Is it more important to give some assistance and support to your friend? Or is it more important to give yourself that support and assistance because you've had a hell of a week and you just need some time to decompress? So for me, I oftentimes will split the difference. So this happened to me last week. I said, hey, I'm not going to be there right at the beginning, but I'll be there. Like, I'll come. So I may come right at the end, but I'm coming because I knew I needed some time because I had some priorities that I had to tend to. So that's me splitting the difference. I'm not going to just blow somebody off because it's a big deal for somebody to host an event, put it together, invite people out. I know how that is. Like, I know what that's like. So I know what it's like to be on the other side of it. So rather than saying I'm going to be there just to get her off the phone and then not show up and then send an excuse later, that's a lie. That's a horrible habit. That's just bad form. But people do it all the time. They do it all the time and think nothing of it. Rather than do all of that, I'm like, hey, you know what? This person's putting a lot of time, energy, and effort in putting on this event. They really want to bring people together. They're going to have a good, nice spread. I want to be supportive. I appreciate that she was thinking of me and inviting me. I'm going to take the time that I need for myself, but then I'm going to make sure I leave enough time to get to that event and spend at least a half an hour, showing love. So that's a compromise, right? But it's splitting the difference so that you don't ever put yourself in a situation where people are looking at you like you're a flake. Like, nobody likes a flake. I have someone that I've grown up with over the years, and they're completely unreliable. Now, the only time I would say that they would be reliable if there was like a real dire emergency or if someone died. Like, I'm pretty sure they would show some sign of support or show up in some way. But 90% of the time, they're unreliable. 90% of the time, they're always saying, I'll be there. They never show up. I'll call you back. They never call. It's something they have habitual. I've watched this over the years. And I'm scratching my head and I'm like, how do you do any business? How do you even have a job? Like, I'm so curious about that. Somebody I've known my whole life. How do you even have a job is my question. Like, how's that even possible? So it's important that you continue to have a high standard in terms of how you give your word to others. Now, the other part of integrity is the internal. Integrity with yourself. And this is just as, if not more important, because we are masters of self-deception. We are masters of self-deception. We will lead ourselves to believe that we're doing more than what we're doing, or that our situation is worse than what it really is. Like, don't make it worse than what it is. Don't make it better than what it is. Just recognize what it is. Oftentimes we will lie to ourselves about our limitations, and then we'll really lie about the possibilities because we won't even entertain the possibilities. We'll be so focused on limitations. So I see people all the time, they're out of integrity with themselves because they're not honoring the best of who they are. They sell themselves short. They have low aim. They have low self-esteem, low self-worth. They have low self-image. They talk down to themselves. They self-sabotage. They do all of these things that are out of integrity with the higher, better version of themselves. So you got to look at what is the foundation of who you are. I was having a conversation with another friend who has a business, and I asked the question, what do you think are the essential elements of a very solid foundation that you want? If you're building a foundation, what's most important? And I threw out some words, and one of the words was integrity. Another word was consistency. Another word was standards, excellence, transparency. And so we were having this conversation about what we would utilize to create a strong foundation. Well, see, the internal integrity is what allows you to weather the storms. because the storms are inevitable. It's just like anything that's a part of the cycle of nature. There's going to be hot days, miserable, humid, muggy, can barely breathe. There's going to be storm days and the power's going to go out. There's going to be cold days, unexpectedly. It's going to mess up your whole flow. There's going to be beautiful days where you don't want to be anywhere but outside. These are the cycles of life. So we understand and can anticipate challenges. The question is, how do we meet those challenges? And here's something that I've learned to appreciate even more as time has progressed. So I have gone through these different experiences in my journey, and there are certain things that I've always held true to because it's my standard, it is my practice, it is my belief, and these things are non-negotiables. So number one, like if I'm going to do something, I have to be in alignment with it. I got to see the value in it. I have to know it's going to make a difference. And if I can't see those things, I'm not doing it. So it doesn't matter to me that I may have the skills to do it, that I may have the talent to do it. I'm not doing it. So for example, my agents, they used to send me auditions for beer commercials and lottery commercials, beer and lottery. And these commercials pay tens of thousands of dollars. And I just kept saying, like, stop sending me this. And they kept thinking, well, if we keep upping the number of what he can earn, maybe he'll bite. And I've to this, like, it's been, listen, this has been since 2000. Okay. Yeah, since 2000, so 23 years. I have never, ever accepted a commercial or an audition for anything that's selling beer or lottery tickets. Why? Because I don't believe in promoting those things. Doesn't mean that I don't have a beer every now and then, but I'm not going to use my voice, my image, name, and likeness to promote it. Like, well, that doesn't make any sense to me. And lottery tickets, I despise my father plays the lottery, but like I think it's just dumb. Like I think it's stupid. So why would I promote that just because I'm going to get a check for $50,000? Like why would I do that? It doesn't mean that I can't benefit from the money. Of course I can benefit from the money, but I'm not doing it just for the money. That's internal integrity, ladies and gentlemen, because nobody is really going to know if I go out. No one's going to know if I audition, by the way. Nobody would know that. They wouldn't know that. Now, if I book that commercial and it ends up going out on TV, then yeah, you're probably going to know. But even voiceover stuff, I don't do any voiceovers that promote alcohol or the lottery. I just won't do it. Now that's different because the chances of people knowing that and knowing me, it's kind of, that's 50-50, right? 50-50. So that's internal integrity because you have a standard that you've established for yourself and it is non-negotiable. There have been situations where I've had to, and I've told you all the story before about being under contract for a 2-city show tour that I was doing. And at the end of the first leg, the first city, we were getting ready to go to the second city. And I said, I would like a pay raise. And it wasn't like an exorbitant amount that I was asking for. It was very reasonable. We had already sold out the whole run. So I thought that's fair. I'm not trying to break the bank, but I'm the lead. I'm on stage all the time. It just warrants a raise. And they said no. And I said, okay, I'm going to exercise my contract and I'm leaving. Like I'm done. I'm out. And so I got all this pushback. My agent was freaking out. The producers were like putting their foot down. They got in touch with the casting director, tried to put all this pressure on me, talking about they would never work with me again and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't really care about that. Like I'm not threatened by any of that. You all don't understand. Man didn't make me, so man can't break me. You think I'm sweating about you threatening me? Like, really? I've been through far worse. So I just held fast to what? My internal integrity, my moral, ethical compass. I understood in that moment what my value was because we did a damn good job. Like we had a fantastic show, we delivered. That's why we had sold out the entire run. So of course they ended up acquiescing and giving me what I asked for, but they could have done that in the first place. Had I not had any internal integrity, I would have been easily swayed. I would have been threatened. I would have been fearful. I would have been quivering and perhaps caved in because all these other people are pressuring this one guy. No. So that's why it's important for you. If you tell yourself, I'm going to get up earlier tomorrow morning, damn it, you better do it. You better do it. I'm going to get up a half an hour earlier because I'm going to do some exercise. I'm going to go for a walk. If you say that to yourself and you don't do it, it is a crime. It is one of the worst things you can do, is to habituate lying to yourself and giving yourself an out. It is like that level of self-deception. It's horrible. Like, it puts you in a category that you just don't want to be in if you lie to yourself. Like, don't do that. It's just terrible. If you say to yourself, I'm going to make some changes in my diet, I'm going to make some changes in my exercise regimen, I'm going to make some changes with my finances, I'm going to do some things differently. If you say that to yourself, you best keep your word. Because you're making a commitment to the most important person on the planet, yourself. And if you can't keep the commitment to yourself, then you're absolutely useless to anybody else. Because now you're being a hypocrite. You're being a hypocrite. Like, people will say to me, well, I was going to get up early and work out, but my mama called and then I had to go help her out. And then my son was not feeling well in the middle of the night. And so I had to take care of him. So I didn't sleep as long as I thought I like, why are you giving me this long list of excuses and justifications for you not keeping your word? That is not the point of this conversation. You keep your freaking word. Get your behind up, go work out, and then go back to sleep. I don't really care. Take a nap. I don't really care. The important thing is that you honor your commitment to your commitment, and then you habituate that. If you habituate finding an out, if you habituate making an excuse, as soon as you buy one excuse, 10 more go on sale. Now it becomes a pattern. And once you do it, it's so much easier to do it again, and it's a wash. Don't ever do that. So then you want to think it through. Do I really want to get up a half an hour earlier tomorrow? You have more. You want more? Take more. Do I really want to get up a half an hour earlier tomorrow? Do I really want to spend an extra 30 minutes going to the gym? Do I want to do that? Do I really want to skip dessert and have, an extra salad? Like, do I really want to do that? Am I really going to fall? Like, what's my why? Why am I doing it? So getting clarity on that allows you to make a decision that you can stand firmly behind, and it becomes a non-negotiable. And ladies and gentlemen, listen, when you start doing that, you start bringing and attracting things to you based on your commitment, based on your vibration, based on that level of follow through. There's something that happens. And listen to me, please, this is really, really important. I cannot tell you when it's going to happen, okay? I can only tell you that it's going to happen. That's something that's going to happen, is something coming that's going to bring you favor, that's going to bring you recognition, that's going to bring you edification, that's going to bring you confirmation, because you held firm to your internal integrity, because you stayed true to your word. Because the more you do what you say, the more what you say comes true. The more you do what you say, the more what you say comes true. And now when people are dealing with you, they have a different level of expectation based on who you are, based on how you show up. Now, when they're around you, they're like, man, I got to be on my game. Like, I can't be like coming up to Tatiana all sloppy. I can't be having a conversation with Kim and I'm not on my point. I'm not on point. I can't come to Jamila and be all flaky. Like, I got to make sure that I'm tight, I'm buttoned up. Like, I got to be ready to deliver. So all of a sudden, you start to have impact and influence on your surroundings. And now you're giving other people a healthier, much more substantive alternative to what the norm is. to what the mediocre masses fall into. Mediocre masses, no integrity. Mediocre masses, say one thing, do another. Mediocre masses, don't follow through. Mediocre masses, lie to themselves. Mediocre masses, use excuses. They encounter you and they're like, I didn't know that this could be a standard that I could set for myself. I did not know there were other people that would call me out on my BS and hold me accountable and help me to raise my game. I need more of you in my life. I need more of how you think in my life. I need to be around you more. I need more people like you. Well, the way you have more people like you is to become one yourself. Now, all of a sudden, you're starting a movement. You're starting to see some change at the grassroots level because of how you're showing up for yourself. So integrity, as was defined by Shauna and Jamila, a person who does what they say and says what they do, regardless of the mood that they're in, the circumstances that come after making that statement. If you give somebody your word, you better do it come hell or high water or die trying. Have an awesome and amazing week. We'll see you guys next Sunday, same channel, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Instagram and on Zoom. Keep promoting. I appreciate you all bringing more people on tonight's call. Let's keep sharing the love and have a great week, you all. See you soon.
Thank you.
Great
Great call.
Bye, everyone.
Have a great week.
Great week, everyone.
Thank you, Ed.
You got it. Enjoy Colombia.
You want me to call you?
No, I said enjoy Colombia.
All right, thank you.
You got it.